Gus Etchegary, a powerful fisheries advocate, passed away yesterday, just weeks shy of his 99th birthday. Etchegary, who was from St. Lawrence, was involved in the fishery for nearly 70 years, from fish plant manager to president of Fishery Products International. And he's also in Canada's Soccer Hall of Fame and has witnessed major historical events from the 1929 tsunami and to the Truxtun and Pollux disaster off St. Lawrence in the 1940s. Here's his friend David Vardy recounting Etchegary's legacy.
Everything here, I think, has to do with fisheries and dates back.
David, tell us a little bit about your relationship with Gus Etchegary.
Well, I've known Gus over the years in so many different capacities, but I'll mention two particular capacities. One was I was the Deputy Minister of Fisheries, and he was the chairman of an advisory committee to the Minister and the Government of Newfoundland, Labrador, and he led a group of people, industry, union people, and conservation people who advised us in the department. And that was one capacity. Another capacity in which I've known Gus is in more recent years as a member of the Fisheries Community Alliance, which is a conservationist group of a small group of people that have been supporting Gus in seeking the rebuilding of fish stocks and the reestablishment of our scientific capability in Canada and our ability to manage stocks more effectively.
And that's something he was really passionate about. Tell us what he envisioned for the fishery.
Gus envisioned the return of the fishery to the levels of productivity that we experienced over the last several hundred years, because our fishery has gone through a number of ups and downs, but its ability to sustain a fishing industry has always been consistent up until 1992. There were ups and downs, but in 1992 we experienced a disequilibrium, an imbalance, a shock to the system, which was bigger than anything we'd experienced before, and it was largely caused by a combination of overfishing and environmental factors. And so Gus believed that we could restore the fishery to the conditions that previously existed if we control the foreign overfishing. That was one of the key things that Gus believed in.
A science budget for Newfoundland.
What can you tell us about Gus as a person? When you read about his accomplishments, the list is long. A witness of history from the tsunami to helping during the Truxtun and Pollux disaster. He started, basically in the fish plant floor as an electrician, working his way up to a president of Fishery Products International. Tell us about the man behind all of these accomplishments.
Gus was a great leader. He developed leadership skills in playing hockey and soccer in St. Lawrence, okay? He understood how people in rural Newfoundland lived, and he had a great understanding of the fishery. He was a passionate person, extremely passionate. He also had a clear understanding of the potential of the fishing industry to be able to sustain a high level of economic activity. So he had strong attributes of honesty, integrity, and loyalty. He had a strong sense of loyalty and passion. He also was a great humanitarian. He was a family man. He had a lot of friends, very close friends, and he had suffered health problems recently that took him away, sadly and unfortunately. But he recovered from many health setbacks over the last 25 years, and every time he recovered, he was stronger. He came back stronger. He would always come back stronger. So Gus was a man. You talk about a cat with 9 lives. I don't know how many lives Gus had, but he certainly had a lot of zest and zing and energy, and he was persistent, extremely persistent. One of his strongest characters was his persistence.
He passed just shy of his 99th birthday.
He would have been 99 years old on the 28th of May.
Wow.
Yes.
And what kind of legacy does he leave? What is this province left without now, without Gus?
What Gus left, he left an incredible legacy, and the biggest challenge to the province that he leaves is the fact that he's told us what we must do if we are to cure the problem. And the legacy is who will act upon his recommendations, because there's a need for urgent action to be taken to rebuild the fishing industry to what it once was. And so there have to be people coming out and stepping up and taking the initiatives, and the politicians really have to be much more aggressive about the fishery and more cognizant of the fact that the fishing industry is with us forever. The natural resources that we have are very abundant. Our non-renewable resources will only last for a short period, and then we're back to relying on the fishing industry.
David Vardy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for asking me.